Welcome to the Event Marketing Sevinar, a 7-minute webinar by Snowball. In this seminar series, you get the tip of the iceberg on pre to post event marketing practical tips, shared by event marketers for event marketers. I'm your host, Rachel Stefani. Let's break the ice. Well, welcome everyone. I am here with Julius Solaris, the famous Julius Solaris. We're here to talk about the dramatic changes that are happening in marketing events. And Julius, you're here to share with us some of your observations. You've been to many virtual events, in-person events recently. So you've watched and compared and analyzed quite a few, I would say. And I'd love to hear from you some of those trends, or I don't like the word trends, some of those observations that you have in terms of how we should be shifting our marketing in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Rachel. I mean, first off, sort of a disclaimer here. I probably attended like 6, 7 events, big events, but 6 or 7. I've just make a big deal out of it when I attended. I'm sure many people have attended more than that. Probably, the problem with the events industry is that there's not a lot of data out there. So we have to rely kind of on opinions and on like anecdotal type of evidence of what's happening. So, take whatever I share with the benefit of the doubt. I may be completely wrong. Sometimes, I tend to be right on trends and stuff like that. It's happening in the market. But again, it's not what is necessarily happening across the board. I've never seen such an incredible pace of change in the major themes that are dominating the industry, literally from pandemic to virtual, and then hybrid, and then in-person full force, and then now new variants and unavailability of staff, impossible to travel, whatever it's happened. Like, we don't know if we're going to go back to virtual. So things are like changing so fast that like even like observations of like 3-4 months ago may be redundant by the time we discuss them. But again, there are some things that are definitely being kept across the board. I feel that some of the things that are happening is definitely this plunge in virtual. I feel that, if you're marketing virtual events today, that's kind of a challenge, right? There's a couple of pointers to that. One is, the content offering has to be literally incredible, stellar in terms of quality or quantity. I think one or the other has to be there. Sometimes like 150 virtual speakers, 200 virtual speakers may convince me to spend a couple of $100, to be honest. That's where I am with my availability to spend. When, at events, I spent $2,000 to probably see 10 of those. So you see like how things are different, because obviously I'm going to in-person events more for the networking, the experience. There's a hospitality component to it that it's missing in the virtual environment. As a result, I kind of want a premium YouTube experience if I'm attending virtual events these days, meaning that I'm going to have a well-formatted interview, or pre-recorded as well, if it's the case, as long as it's made for me and it's custom and it's not just like something that I can find on YouTube and there's like some tangible data around it content-wise, and there's like slides that I can download and stuff like that. And there's the best of the best speakers in my environment, vertical, whatever it is. Like, it's really has to be top. I've seen some events like making the content available for like 2-3 months and adding a layer of sort of scarcity to the library, because I feel that a lot of people don't go back to the libraries because they tend to think, all right, it's going to be there whenever I need it, I'll go back, and then they don't. But like if you put an expiration date to it, maybe more people are going to feel compelled to go back and review the videos, because what we realized is that we don't have that time that we used to have during the pandemic. Then I think there's incredibly interesting attendance patterns, and like if you're selling tickets, it's like, I mean, it's been a science before. Now I think it's like esoterical type of understanding how the patterns are moving. How you manage the ticketing component is like so important. So you want to reward the early bird as much as possible. Like, like giving you commitment like 6-9 months ahead. It's almost like saying, all right, whatever, I'm just going to put money for in my 401k and like hope that I can retire one day, that type of trust, in the long term, that things are going to be fine and whatever. So yeah, it's literally like a vote of trust that you need to reward, meaning like, bring the price down as much as you can, like to build that speed and have some level of certainty, and also be ready for the first, like the 2 weeks before the event, because that seems to be the new sweet spot. Like 2 weeks before the event, it seems like a flood of registrations is happening for a lot of in-person events. So sort of moving to this YOLO concept, right? Of you only live once. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to curse on it, but freak it, I'll attend it, the type of decision last minute. So a lot of events are experiencing that. I feel that the biggest opportunity right now for hybrid is literally capturing all that content and making it available afterward. Some events experience like great success in terms of virtual attendance, but again, it's not a problem with hybrid, it's a problem with how good your content is. Most of the events I've attended in the past 6 months, I was there just for the networking. So there's a reality check that you need to have with your team in terms of how good your content is and how compelling it is and how compelled people are to listen to that online. Because if people don't even bother offline, you can even picture like how engaged your online audience is going to be. So, and with rising costs and inflation and all that nightmare that is happening as well, literally the hybrid proposition becomes a very, very difficult one.
Yeah, some good observation, Julius. I really appreciate your input and what you've seen there. And hopefully, our audience can get to apply some of these practical tips in your day-to-day job. If you like this episode, please share it with your colleagues and friends, and subscribe to receive notifications for upcoming episodes. And see you next time.